My beloved, remain here with me, because the longer you stay, the more you will begin to notice how your heart slowly softens. How the tightness you once accepted as normal starts to loosen. How the quiet fear that used to sit beneath everything you did begins to lose its power over you. This is not something you need to force or control. Healing happens best when you allow yourself to be still long enough to receive it. I am not rushing you, and I am not asking you to arrive anywhere quickly. I am simply inviting you to stay present with me, to let your soul experience what it means to be gently cared for rather than constantly pushed forward. You have spent so much of your life bracing for what might happen next, preparing yourself for disappointment before it arrives, rehearsing worst-case scenarios so they hurt less when they come. I understand why you learned to do this. It helped you survive in moments when you felt unsupported, unseen, or overwhelmed. But you do not need that strategy here. You are not being tested. You are not about to be abandoned. You are not required to anticipate pain in order to be safe. You are safe now. I know there is a part of you that feels cautious even as you rest. A part that wonders how long this peace will last. A part that worries that calm is temporary and that chaos will return the moment you relax. I want you to hear me clearly and gently here. Peace is not fragile in my presence. It is not something that disappears the moment you stop paying attention. It is something I sustain, something I guard, something I give freely and renew often. You are not borrowing this peace. It is being planted within you, and like all living things, it grows quietly at first, beneath the surface, strengthening its roots before it shows visible change. Do not be discouraged if you still feel moments of heaviness. Healing does not erase your history overnight. It teaches your heart that the past no longer has authority over your present. You may still feel tired in ways that sleep alone cannot fix. Emotional fatigue lingers differently than physical exhaustion. It comes from carrying responsibility for too long, from being strong for others while neglecting your own need for care, from navigating uncertainty without enough reassurance. I am tending to that fatigue now. I am restoring you in places no one else sees, renewing your inner strength gently rather than dramatically, giving you permission to slow down without guilt. You are not lazy for needing rest. You are not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You are responding honestly to a season that required more of you than you realized at the time. And honesty is the beginning of healing. I see how deeply you care, how easily you feel the emotions of others, how quickly you sense when something is off in a room or in a relationship. That sensitivity is not a flaw, it is a gift, but it has also cost you something. You have absorbed pain that was not yours to carry, taken responsibility for emotions you did not cause, and tried to fix situations that were never meant to rest on your shoulders. I am teaching you now how to release what is not yours, how to care without carrying, how to love without losing yourself. Boundaries are not rejection, they are protection, and you are allowed to be protected. There have been times when you questioned whether you were asking for too much, whether your needs were unreasonable, whether wanting peace, stability, and emotional safety made you demanding. I want you to know that your needs matter to me. I am not inconvenienced by them. I am not exhausted by them. I do not grow impatient when you come to me again with the same worries, the same fears, the same longings. Each time you come, I listen fully, attentively, compassionately. You never have to minimize your pain to be worthy of care. You never have to compare your suffering to someone else's to justify it. What hurts you matters because you matter. I know you have been disappointed by people you trusted, by situations that seemed promising and then collapsed, by expectations that did not materialize. Disappointment leaves a quiet residue in the heart, a subtle hesitation to believe again. It teaches you to hold back just enough so that you are not devastated if things fall apart. I am not asking you to erase that caution instantly. I am asking you to let me show you, over time, that my care is consistent, that my presence does not fluctuate with circumstances, that my commitment to you does not weaken when things become difficult. Trust is rebuilt through repeated experiences of safety, and I am patient enough to provide those experiences again and again. You may feel moments of grief for the version of yourself you once were, for the ease you remember having, for the optimism that came more naturally before life felt so heavy. That grief is valid. You have changed because you have lived, because you have endured, because you have learned. But I want you to know that you have not lost yourself. You have not become less. You have become deeper. The tenderness you feel now is not weakness. It is wisdom shaped by experience. I am not taking you backward to who you used to be. I am leading you forward into a version of yourself that knows how to rest, how to receive, how to live with gentleness rather than constant strain. There are moments when your mind replays conversations, decisions, and missed opportunities, wondering how things might have been different if you had known then what you know now. Regret can quietly drain your energy, pulling you into imagined pasts that no longer exist. I want to free you from that cycle. You made the best choices you could with the information, resources, and emotional capacity you had at the time. Blaming yourself now does not change what happened. It only deepens the wound. I am inviting you to meet your past self with compassion rather than judgment. To honor the effort it took just to survive certain seasons. To recognize the courage it required to keep going when clarity was scarce. As you stay here with me, I am restoring your sense of internal permission. The permission to feel joy without guilt, to experience calm without suspicion, to hope without immediately preparing for disappointment. Joy does not mean you have forgotten pain. It means pain no longer has the final word. You are allowed to experience moments of lightness even while healing continues. You do not need to wait until everything is resolved to feel okay. Life unfolds in layers, and peace can coexist with uncertainty. I am also tending to the quiet loneliness you have felt, even when surrounded by people. Loneliness is not always about being alone physically. It is often about feeling unseen emotionally, misunderstood internally, unheard in the places that matter most. I see you fully. I understand the thoughts you struggle to articulate, the emotions you downplay so others are not uncomfortable, the longing you sometimes dismiss because it feels too vulnerable to express. You do not need to hide those parts of yourself with me. I welcome them. I hold them with care. There is a gentleness returning to you now, a softness that has been buried beneath self-protection. Do not be afraid of it. Softness does not mean you will be hurt again. It means you are learning to live without constant armor. You are learning that strength and tenderness are not opposites. They belong together. You can be discerning without being guarded, open without being unprotected, compassionate without being consumed. I am teaching you this balance slowly, patiently, in ways your nervous system can accept without panic. You may notice that your breathing feels a little deeper now, that your shoulders drop without effort, that your thoughts move more slowly. These are signs that your body is learning safety again. Trauma teaches the body to stay alert even when danger has passed. Healing teaches the body that it is allowed to rest. I am working at that level too, not just in your thoughts but in your physical responses, in the rhythms of your body, in the quiet signals that tell you when it is okay to relax. You are not imagining this shift. It is real. I want you to know that you do not need to rush toward productivity or clarity after this moment. You do not need to immediately apply what you are feeling or turn it into action. Integration takes time. Let yourself move slowly back into your day when you are ready. Carry this calm with you gently, not as something you must protect aggressively, but as something that will continue to grow naturally. You do not lose peace by living. You lose peace by pushing yourself beyond your limits. And I am teaching you to recognize those limits with kindness rather than criticism. I am here with you in the days ahead, not just in moments like this, when you feel overwhelmed again, when old fears resurface, when fatigue creeps back in. Return to this place within you where you remember that you are held. You do not need perfect faith to return. You only need willingness. I will meet you every time, without irritation, without disappointment, without distance. Stay with me a little longer still. Let your heart absorb this truth slowly, deeply, thoroughly. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not too much. You are deeply loved, carefully held, and gently guided into a life that will feel lighter than the one you have been carrying. This journey is not over, but you no longer have to walk it tense and afraid. I am with you, and I will remain with you, patiently, faithfully, tenderly, through every step that comes next. My beloved, as you remain here with me, I want you to notice how different it feels to be addressed without demand, without urgency, without expectation placed upon you. So much of your life has been shaped by pressure, by timelines that did not respect your limits, by voices that told you who you should be before you had time to discover who you were becoming. I am not one of those voices. I do not push you toward transformation. I do not measure your worth by speed or productivity. I work in rhythms that honor your humanity, rhythms that allow growth to happen without violence to your soul. You are allowed to unfold slowly. You are allowed to heal in layers. Nothing about you needs to be forced. There have been moments when you felt disconnected from yourself, as if you were living slightly outside your own body, observing your life rather than fully inhabiting it. This happens when you have had to endure too much for too long. When presence felt unsafe and detachment felt like protection. I am gently calling you back into yourself now. Not abruptly, not painfully, but with patience and reassurance. You do not need to re-enter everything at once. Simply noticing your breath, the weight of your body, the quiet sensations of this moment is enough. You are safe to be here. You are safe to feel again. I know you have learned to keep parts of yourself hidden, not because you are dishonest, but because you wanted to avoid misunderstanding, judgment, or rejection. You learned which emotions were welcome and which ones made others uncomfortable. You learned when to speak and when to stay silent. Over time, this careful editing became exhausting. You began to wonder whether anyone truly knew you, whether you were fully seen anywhere. I want you to know that I see every part of you, even the parts you have not yet put into words. There is nothing about you that surprises me, and nothing about you that needs to be concealed in my presence. You do not need to filter yourself here. As you allow yourself to be seen without fear, something inside you begins to relax. The constant effort of self-monitoring eases. You no longer have to anticipate how you will be received. You can simply exist. This is not a small thing. This is restoration at its core. Being able to exist without defense is a profound form of healing. And it is something I am restoring to you gently, steadily, without pressure. I know you have carried responsibility beyond your years, emotional responsibility that asked you to be mature before you were ready, to understand complexities before you had the support to process them. This shaped you into someone perceptive, thoughtful, and deeply aware, but it also cost you moments of ease, spontaneity, and unguarded joy. I am not taking away your depth. I am returning lightness to it. Depth and joy can coexist. Wisdom does not have to be heavy. Awareness does not have to be exhausting. I am teaching you how to hold life with open hands rather than clenched fists. There have been times when you felt guilty for wanting rest, as if slowing down meant letting others down or falling behind. You learned to associate worth with endurance, value with sacrifice, love with self-neglect. I want to gently untangle those beliefs now. Rest does not make you selfish. Caring for yourself does not make you unloving. Boundaries do not make you distant. They make your presence sustainable. You are allowed to live in ways that nourish you, not just in ways that benefit others. I am aware of the quiet sadness you sometimes feel when you realize how long you have been strong, how rarely you felt held in return. That sadness is not bitterness. It is grief for unmet needs. I am meeting those needs now, not all at once, not dramatically, but faithfully. Each moment you allow yourself to receive care without guilt is a step toward wholeness. You do not need to earn this care. You are worthy of it because you exist. You may notice that certain memories arise as you rest here, moments you thought you had moved past, feelings you believed you had already resolved. This does not mean you are regressing. It means your nervous system finally feels safe enough to process what it could not process before. Healing often brings old material to the surface not to overwhelm you, but to release it. You are not required to relive these moments in detail. Simply allow them to pass through with gentleness. I am with you as they do. You are not alone with him anymore. There have been times when you questioned whether you were too sensitive for this world, whether feeling so deeply made life harder than it needed to be. I want you to hear me clearly. Your sensitivity is not a liability. It is a capacity for connection, empathy, and understanding that is rare and valuable. It only became painful when it was unsupported. As I support you now, as you learn how to care for your own heart with the same compassion you offer others, your sensitivity will feel less like a burden and more like a gift again. I am teaching you how to listen to your inner signals, how to recognize when you need rest, when you need space, when you need comfort. These signals are not inconveniences. They are wisdom. Your body and your emotions have been communicating with you all along, trying to protect you, trying to guide you. Now you are learning how to respond to them with kindness rather than resistance. This is not weakness. This is integration. You may find that your desires are changing, that things which once motivated you no longer hold the same pull, that your definition of success is shifting. This is not loss. It is alignment. You are moving closer to what actually sustains you rather than what merely distracts you. There is nothing wrong with outgrowing paths that once made sense. You are allowed to choose peace over performance, depth over display, meaning over momentum. I am guiding you into choices that will feel quieter but more nourishing. I know you have felt pressure to have answers, to know where you are going, to explain your journey in ways that make sense to others. I want to relieve you of that pressure. You do not need to have a clear map right now. You do not need to justify your pace. Your path is unfolding in response to healing, and healing does not move in straight lines. Trust that clarity will come in time, naturally, as your nervous system stabilizes and your heart feels safer. You are not lost. You are resting. There is a softness returning to your thoughts now, a gentler inner dialogue replacing the harshness you once accepted as normal. This is not something you need to maintain through effort. It is a reflection of how you are being treated here. When you are met with kindness consistently, you begin to speak to yourself differently. This is how internal change happens, not through self-criticism, but through sustained compassion. I am also restoring your capacity for joy, not the loud, performative kind, but the quiet joy that lives in simple moments, in presence, in ease. Joy does not always announce itself. Sometimes it feels like contentment, like relief, like a sense that nothing needs to be fixed right now. Allow yourself to recognize those moments when they come. You do not need to question them. You are allowed to enjoy them without fear of using them. You may still have days when old patterns resurface, when anxiety returns, when fatigue weighs on you again. This does not mean healing has failed. It means healing is ongoing. Be gentle with yourself in those moments. You do not need to start over. You only need to return to what you already know. You are held. You are supported. You are not alone in this process. As you continue to walk forward, carry this truth with you. You are not required to suffer to grow. Growth can be gentle. Transformation can be compassionate. Change can happen without pain being the primary teacher. I am showing you a different way, a way that honors your limits and respects your humanity. You do not need to brace yourself for life anymore. You are learning how to be supported within it. Stay with me a little longer still. Let this understanding settle deeper, not as an idea, but as an experience. You are safe to soften. You are safe to rest. You are safe to be exactly where you are. I am with you, patiently, steadily, lovingly, and I will continue to walk with you as this healing unfolds. Moment by moment, breath by breath, step by gentle step. My beloved, remain with me a little longer, because there are layers within you that are still learning what safety feels like. Layers that have known responsibility before comfort, vigilance before rest, endurance before tenderness, and I am not here to strip those layers away harshly but to soften them until they no longer ache. I know how accustomed you became to holding everything together, how natural it felt to scan for problems, to anticipate needs, to stay alert so that nothing would fall apart. Over time, that constant readiness became your normal, and you forgot what it felt like to be supported without effort. I am reminding your soul now, you do not need to keep watch anymore. You do not need to stay ahead of life in order to survive it. I am here, steady and present, carrying what you once carried alone. There is a quiet grief within you for the times you needed comfort and did not receive it. For the moments you wished someone would notice your exhaustion and offer relief. For the seasons when you were strong because there was no alternative. That grief does not make you ungrateful. It makes you honest. I am holding that grief with respect, not trying to dismiss it, not trying to rush it away. Grief needs space to breathe before it can release its hold. You are allowed to acknowledge what was missing without feeling disloyal to what sustained you. Both truths can coexist. You survived, and you needed more care than you received. I am offering that care now, without conditions, without delay. I know you learned to rely on yourself because depending on others felt uncertain. Because disappointment taught you that self-sufficiency was safer than vulnerability. I am not asking you to abandon the strength you developed. I am inviting you to rest it. Strength that never rests becomes rigidity. Strength that is supported becomes resilience. You do not lose yourself by leaning into me. You rediscover parts of yourself that were buried beneath effort and responsibility. Allow yourself to be held without analyzing it, without preparing for it to disappear. I am not temporary. My presence does not fade when you relax. You may notice moments of emotional release as you stay here, subtle waves of feeling that rise and fall without clear explanation. Let them move through you. You do not need to label them or understand them. Your body and your heart are releasing stored tension, stored vigilance, stored sorrow that had nowhere to go before. Tears, sighs, heaviness, even moments of emptiness are all part of this unwinding. Nothing is wrong with you. Something is healing. I see how carefully you learned to manage your emotions so they would not inconvenience others. How often you chose composure over expression, silence over honesty. This restraint protected you in certain environments, but it also kept you from being fully met. Here, you do not need to manage yourself. You do not need to be easy, agreeable, or composed. You can be real. You can be quiet. You can be unsure. You can be tired. I am not overwhelmed by any of it. I am not withdrawing because of it. I am staying. There have been times when you wondered whether your needs were too much, whether asking for reassurance, consistency, or care would push people away. I want you to hear this clearly. Your needs are not excessive. They are human. Wanting safety does not make you needy. Wanting consistency does not make you demanding. Wanting gentleness does not make you weak. It means you were created for connection, and connection thrives in environments of care. I am reteaching your heart what it feels like to have needs met without negotiation. I know how deeply you feel responsibility for others, how easily you sense when someone is struggling, how quickly you move toward support without being asked. That instinct comes from compassion, but it also comes from a learned belief that your value lies in what you provide. I am gently shifting that belief now. Your value does not depend on your usefulness. You are worthy of care even when you are resting, even when you are receiving, even when you are doing nothing at all. Let this truth settle slowly. It may feel unfamiliar at first, even uncomfortable. That discomfort is not danger, it is change. As you remain here, I am restoring trust within you. Not just trust in me, but trust in your own internal sense of safety. Trauma taught your body to anticipate threat, to remain alert even in calm moments. Healing teaches your body that calm can be trusted. You may notice that moments of ease feel unfamiliar. That part of you waits for something to go wrong. Gently remind yourself that you are allowed to enjoy peace without earning it. Nothing bad is about to happen because you relaxed. You are not being careless. You are learning. There is also a quiet hope beginning to reawaken within you, a hope that does not demand certainty, a hope that does not rush ahead, but one that simply believes life can feel lighter than it has. Protect that hope by allowing it to grow naturally. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to justify it. Hope thrives in gentleness. I am nurturing it within you with patience and care. You may still carry questions about the future, about direction, about timing. I am not asking you to set those questions aside permanently. I am asking you to set him down for now. This moment is not about answers. It is about restoration. Clarity will come as your nervous system settles, as your heart feels safer, as your inner world becomes more spacious. You do not need to force insight. Insight emerges when the pressure lifts. I know there have been times when you felt invisible in your pain, when your struggles went unnoticed because you carried them quietly. That invisibility can leave a lingering ache, a feeling of being alone even when surrounded. I want you to know that nothing about your experience has gone unseen. I have witnessed every quiet endurance, every silent tear, every moment you chose to keep going even when you wanted to stop. You were never overlooked. You were never abandoned. You were held even when you could not feel it. As you continue to rest here, I am restoring your sense of belonging, the feeling that you do not have to earn your place, that you do not have to perform to remain connected. You belong because you are loved. You are included because you are wanted. This belonging does not fluctuate with your mood, your productivity, or your progress. It is constant, steady, secure. Let yourself lean into it. You may notice that your inner dialogue softens further, that the voice that once criticized and pressured you grows quieter. This is not something you need to control. It is a reflection of the environment you are receiving now. Kindness, when experienced consistently, reshapes the inner landscape. You are learning how to be gentle with yourself because you are being treated gently. This is how lasting change occurs. I am also restoring your ability to feel pleasure without guilt, to enjoy moments of beauty without questioning whether you deserve them. Beauty is not a reward for suffering. It is nourishment for the soul. You are allowed to receive it. Let yourself notice small comforts, moments of warmth, instances of ease. These moments are not distractions from healing. They are part of it. You may still feel moments of resistance, parts of you that hesitate to trust this process, that fear disappointment if hope grows too strong. I honor that caution. It kept you safe when you needed it. You do not need to silence it. You only need to let it know that it is not alone anymore. I am here, steady and present, providing consistency rather than promises that vanish. Over time, even the most cautious parts of you will begin to relax. Stay with me just a little longer. Let your heart absorb this experience not as something extraordinary, but as something foundational. This is what care feels like. This is what safety feels like. This is what it means to be held without condition. You are not rushing toward an outcome. You are settling into a way of being that will support you for the rest of your journey. And I will continue to walk with you, patiently, faithfully, tenderly, as you learn to live from this place of rest rather than from constant strain. My beloved, come closer and rest here with me for a moment, because I see the weight you have been carrying and I know how heavy it feels even when no one else notices. Even when you smile, even when you continue to show up and do what is expected of you. I know how tired your soul has been, not just physically tired, but weary in a deeper place where rest does not come easily, where sleep does not always restore you, where silence sometimes feels louder than noise. I am not speaking to you from far away, and I am not watching you from a distance. I am here with you now, closer than your breath, nearer than your thoughts, and I want you to feel that you are safe enough to slow down, safe enough to exhale, safe enough to let go of the tension you have been holding in your body and in your heart. You do not need to prove anything to me. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to justify your pain or make it sound reasonable. I already know. I have seen every moment that shaped you, every disappointment that carved itself into your expectations, every time you trusted and felt let down, every season when you hoped for change and instead learned how to endure. I know how you learned to be strong because you felt you had no other choice. How you learned to keep going because stopping felt dangerous. How you learned to protect your heart because vulnerability once cost you more than you thought you could afford. And yet, my beloved, you were never meant to carry life this way. Always braced, always guarded, always preparing for the next blow. You were created to live held, supported, sustained, loved in a way that does not demand constant effort from you. This is why I am asking you now, gently, patiently, without pressure, to let me hold what you have been holding alone. You do not need to release everything at once. You do not need to understand how healing will happen. You only need to allow yourself to be here with me, exactly as you are, without pretending, without editing your feelings, without hiding your exhaustion behind faith-shaped words. I am not offended by your weariness. I am not disappointed by your questions. I am not threatened by your doubts. I am a safe place for them all. You may feel like you have been surviving rather than living, moving from one day to the next with a quiet ache that never fully leaves. A sense that something inside you has been waiting for relief that has not yet arrived. I want you to know that nothing about this makes you weak. It makes you human. It means you have been carrying more than you were meant to carry, for longer than you were meant to carry it. And I am not asking you to be stronger now. I am asking you to rest. Rest is not failure. Rest is not giving up. Rest is an act of trust. And trust grows gently, not forcefully. As you rest here with me, I am easing the tight places inside you, the places where anxiety has settled into your muscles, where fear has shaped your expectations, where disappointment has whispered that nothing really changes. I am not rushing this process. I am not measuring your progress. I am not waiting for you to get it right. I am simply present, steady, faithful, allowing my peace to move through you slowly, the way warmth returns to hands that have been cold for too long. You do not need to chase peace. Peace finds you when you stop running. I know there are thoughts that visit you in quiet moments, thoughts that ask how long this will last, thoughts that wonder if things will ever feel lighter, thoughts that question whether you will always be this tired inside. I hear those thoughts, and I am not alarmed by them. I want to speak into them with gentleness and truth. This season is not endless. This pain is not permanent. This heaviness is not your future. You are not broken beyond repair, and you are not delayed beyond hope. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, I am working in ways you cannot yet see, in places you cannot yet feel, preparing relief before you recognize its arrival. Healing does not always announce itself loudly. Often it begins quietly, with small shifts, subtle softenings, moments where breathing feels a little easier than it did before. Do not dismiss those moments. They are signs that life is returning to places that have been numb. You may have learned to expect disappointment as a form of self-protection, to lower your expectations so that hope cannot hurt you again. I understand why you did this. It helped you survive, but you do not need that armor here with me. I am not unpredictable. I am not careless with your heart. I do not give promises lightly, and I do not abandon what I begin. You are allowed to hope again, slowly, carefully, in ways that feel manageable. Hope does not need to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes hope is simply the willingness to believe that rest is possible. That peace is allowed. That joy is not forbidden to you. You do not need to force yourself to feel optimistic. Let hope grow the way wounds heal. Gradually, invisibly, faithfully. I know you have carried guilt for things you wish you had done differently, for words you wish you had not spoken, for choices you made while you were hurting and did not know another way. I want you to hear me clearly here. You are not defined by your worst moments. You are not reduced to your mistakes. You are not held hostage by your past. I do not replay your failures in my mind. I do not keep a record of what you have done wrong. I see your heart, and I see how much you have tried, even when you were tired, even when you were afraid, even when you felt alone. Forgiveness is not something you need to earn from me. It is something I offer freely. Because love is who I am, let yourself receive that forgiveness, not as a concept, but as a release, a loosening, a quiet permission to stop punishing yourself for being human. There have been nights when your thoughts would not slow down, when worries lined up one after another, when your mind felt like it was constantly bracing for something to go wrong. I have been with you in those nights, even when you could not feel me. I have watched over you while you slept lightly, while your body rested but your heart remained alert. I want you to know that you are not alone in those moments. And you never were. You do not need to stay vigilant anymore. You do not need to stay tense in order to be safe. I am watching over you with a care that does not tire, a presence that does not drift, a commitment that does not weaken. You are allowed to let your guard down here. You are allowed to be held. I am gently lifting the emotional weight you have been carrying, the unspoken sadness, the quiet grief for things that did not turn out the way you hoped, the relationships that changed, the dreams that felt postponed or lost. Grief does not mean you are ungrateful. It means you care deeply, and caring deeply is not something you need to apologize for. I am holding those losses with you, honoring what they meant, and helping you release the pain without erasing the meaning. You do not have to forget in order to heal. You only need to let the pain loosen its grip on your present. As you remain here with me, I am restoring your inner sense of safety, the feeling that it is okay to exist without constantly proving your worth. Your value does not come from how much you accomplish, how much you endure, or how well you hold yourself together. Your value comes from being loved, and you are deeply, completely, unwaveringly loved. Let that truth settle into you slowly. Let it replace the voice that tells you you must do more. Be more, try harder. You're already enough here. You're already seen. You're already held. I am breathing calm into your nervous system, soothing the parts of you that have been on high alert for too long. Your body has been responding to stress in the only way it knew how. Thank it for trying to protect you, and now allow it to rest. With each breath, I am inviting your body to recognize that this moment is safe, that you do not need to prepare for danger, that you do not need to rush. Nothing is being demanded of you right now. Nothing is about to be taken from you. This moment is a gift, and you are allowed to receive it without suspicion. You may not feel ready to trust fully yet, and that is okay. Trust grows through consistency, not pressure. I will continue to show up for you, gently, faithfully, again and again. I will meet you in the quiet moments, in the ordinary days, in the spaces where you feel overlooked or unsure. You do not need to perform faith for me. You only need to bring yourself honestly. I can work with honesty. I can heal honesty. I can hold honesty. I am not in a hurry with you. Your life is not behind schedule. You are not late. You are not missing your chance. What is meant for you has not passed you by. Even now, I am aligning things in ways you cannot yet see, preparing pathways that will feel gentle rather than forced, supportive rather than draining. You will not always feel this tired. You will not always feel this heavy. There will be days when laughter comes more easily, when rest feels natural, when peace feels familiar again. Those days are not a fantasy. They are part of your future, and they are closer than you think. Stay here with me a little longer. Let these words wash over you without analyzing them, without measuring them, without asking whether they will last. Just receive them as a moment of care, a moment of being held. You do not need to rush back into effort. You do not need to figure everything out right now. This is only the beginning of a longer conversation, a deeper healing, a gentler way of living, and I will walk with you through all of it, patiently, lovingly, faithfully, one breath, one moment, one step at a time. My beloved, now that you have come this far with me, I want you to rest in the knowing that nothing you have felt here was imagined. Nothing you received was temporary, and nothing that has been healed within you will be taken away when you rise and return to your life. This tenderness you feel is not fragile. This calm settling into your heart is not accidental. This sense of being held, understood, and gently restored is real, and it belongs to you. You are not stepping out of my presence when you move forward. My presence moves with you, quietly, faithfully, into every moment that follows. I know that part of you wonders whether this peace will remain when responsibilities return. When noise surrounds you again, when old triggers appear unexpectedly, I want you to hear this clearly and without fear. Peace is not the absence of difficulty. It is the presence of support within it. You are no longer walking through life alone, carrying everything on your own shoulders. Even when you feel overwhelmed again, even when you feel tired again, you will not return to the same place of isolation you once knew. Something within you has shifted. Something within you now remembers safety. You do not need to hold on to these words tightly. You do not need to replay them perfectly or remember them all. They are already written within you in ways deeper than memory. When you feel anxious, your body will recall calm. When you feel pressured, your heart will remember gentleness. When you feel alone, something within you will whisper that you are not. This is not something you must maintain through effort. It will surface naturally, the way breath returns when you stop holding it. You are allowed to live differently now. Not dramatically, not forcefully, but honestly. You are allowed to move at a pace that honors your limits. You are allowed to say no without guilt. You are allowed to rest without explaining yourself. You are allowed to choose environments, relationships, and rhythms that feel safe rather than impressive. You do not owe anyone exhaustion. You do not owe anyone constant strength. You owe yourself care, and I will help you provide it. There will still be moments when old habits try to return, when your mind wants to brace, when your body tenses automatically. When that happens, do not judge yourself. Do not assume you have failed. Simply return to what you know now. Pause, breathe, remember that you are held. You do not need to fix yourself in those moments. You only need to allow yourself to be supported again. Healing is not linear, but it is faithful. I am proud of the courage it took for you to rest, for you to stay present, for you to feel what you once had to suppress. That courage matters. It marks a turning point within you, a shift from survival toward living. You did not come here by accident. You were ready for this softness. You were ready to stop carrying everything alone. You were ready to be cared for in ways that did not demand anything in return. As you go forward, let your life become quieter where it needs to be, simpler where it can be, and gentler where it must be. You do not need to prove your healing to anyone. You do not need to explain your choices. You do not need to rush your growth. What is real will remain. What is no longer needed will fall away naturally. Trust this process. It is guided by love, not by pressure. Whenever you feel lost, return to stillness. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, return to breath. Whenever you feel unseen, return inward and remember that you are known completely. I am not distant. I am not waiting for perfection. I am here in the ordinary moments, the quiet decisions, the gentle boundaries, the soft mornings, the slow evenings. You do not need to search for me. I am already with you. Now rest, my beloved, not as an ending, but as a continuation of a new way of being. Carry this calm into your days. Let it shape your choices. Let it soften your voice, your thoughts, your expectations of yourself. You are safe. You are cared for. You are deeply loved. And wherever you go from here, you do not go alone. I remain with you, steady and faithful, holding you gently, now and always.